guys, how's it going? Welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm your host, Alex Whiteley. Just me today. Everybody's at work. How dare they? Selfish, all the other biscuiteers. Although we do have a lot coming up soon. We're going to be at the Cavalier Centre next weekend for the Shropshire Virtual Show. We're going to be taking part quite heavily on that. We're going to be doing some live interviews. We're pre-recording some interviews, speaking to Anna later. We're having a meeting to sort of plan how things are going. And a person with me today who's been on the show before as well, who's also having a lot of input in this amazing show that these guys are putting together, is the High Sheriff, Dean Harris. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Alex. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's finally great to meet you in person. It's been a crazy whirlwind day for it's been one of those things, but we're finally here.
We're sat, we're parked. That's the main thing.
How have you been? Last time we spoke, you just stepped into the role, and
I took office 3rd of April, just in time for lockdown. I've been really busy, really busy. Loving every minute of it, I have to say, and finally starting to get out and about. But I mean, lockdown has been particularly kind to me. I really can't complain, and I know that's not the case with everybody. Yeah. But because of Zooming and Teams and whatever, it's meant in the first sort of 12 weeks I was able to get around a lot more people.
Can't escape now, can you? No excuses.
No.
I can't get to the office. Traffic's bad.
So it's been fantastic in that I've got to a lot more people in a shorter space of time. So that's been really good. But I can't deny that I'm now pleased that we're starting to be able to get out and about and just sort of meet people in reality. So it's good. It's really good so far.
I mean, we've talked about the positives. There are some positives of what's happened with this lockdown. Is the advancement in technology. People are using, like you said, Zoom and things. People, the introvert kind of artisty types have been working hard. I've seen a lot of people that have built things and made things from their time while they've been in lockdown. Yeah. But of course, there's lots of there's a few negatives that have been happening as well, mainly to do with the domestic lives, families, things. And when we spoke last time, you wanted to look into family. That was like your goal, is like looking at
well,
family.
It's domestic. The three areas I'm championing in my year or focusing on are domestic abuse, child poverty and deprivation, and addiction, all of which have been impacted by COVID in a negative way. The only positive, I would say, from COVID as regards those three issues is that people are now talking about them a lot more.
Yes.
So that is the only positive. Now we've also got to take it on a stage and get some action, which always speaks louder than words. So, yeah, the domestic abuse side of things is frightening, how that's increased, 100% increase on some of the issues there.
I read somewhere that there's been a lot more kids being put into care as well. That's unbelievable.
Yeah. Purely through, and in Shropshire particularly, we don't think we seem to be bucking the trend, if that's the right term. We're not seeing the increased numbers in this county yet. We're not the same as the rest of all the national stats that have been put out there. So we think it's coming some way down the line, and maybe it'll be when the children go back to school that we'll see things increase, which is slightly worrying. So it's not that it's not going on, it's just not being reported.
There seems to be a torrent on Facebook as well of just this language that people are using lately. I mean, I don't want to mention names, but the press at the moment are very much pressing people's buttons. They are just, and when it came to we may have to close the pubs to open up the schools.
It's inflammatory, isn't it? That's the issue, and it's you wonder whether it's been said to for an immediate reaction, and then there's something else going to go on. So does it mean that whatever happens? I mean, it's almost like it sounds like bribery, doesn't it? Yeah. If you don't send your children to school and that sort of thing. But I haven't got children, and so who am I to judge? But there is part. I'm very conscious, as most people are, that there are things that that are not being picked up on because children are not engaging, with schools and things like that. So that's a concern, and hopefully, I'm sure they will go back in September, and I'm sure we won't close the pubs, but who knows? But yeah, I mean that is the concern, like you say, when they're back in school and then the social issues have been picked up on and been reported.
I think this. I always make this rule not to get political in my own personal things, but I always just end up going heads deep into it anyway. I just can't help myself sometimes. So I always say I don't have the answers. I don't have the answers, and there's very few people that do. I mean, it's the people that the people paid a lot of money to come up with these answers.
It's above our pay grade, probably, isn't it? Yeah.
But I think it's all about moderation, isn't it? Maybe if you slim the numbers in pubs.
Yeah.
And in places whilst opening the schools, that might help, because you walk past certain places around Shrewsbury and they're bustling, they're booming. There's women outside hugging, and it's just a nightmare. But
no, it is a tricky one, and everybody's desperate to get back to normality, but we do have to remember that the pandemic is still out there.
Of course.
And we've been quite fortunate. I won't say lucky, but we've been fortunate in Shropshire that we've not been impacted as greatly as a lot of people, or a lot of areas in the country. So fingers crossed that stays like that. But again, we just need to be conscious of it.
Vigilant, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
But hats off to the pubs and the companies that are out there that are just doing the right thing. I know
and being creative as well, just coming up with new ideas, new ways to do things, and seem to, by and large, be taking everywhere I've been seems to be taking it very seriously, which is nice. And then you feel comfortable, and then you feel that you do want to go out rather than worrying about it all the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And we went a couple of weeks ago. We went to the Beacon in Copthorne. Love that place. And we got a table outside. You could sit inside or outside, but it was a beautiful day. I wanted some food and some cider. It was just one of those days, And I was so taken back by how organised they were. They put like a little till outside with a young lad who stood there in the sweltering heat, but he was fantastic. You go there, you do your track and trace, you take it to them, and then they come to your table, you order, and if you need anything, you go to the guy to order your food, and then it comes to you. It just run like clockwork. It's fantastic. They adapted, and again, and a premises that's following the rules and doing things correctly.
Absolutely, and who knows how long it's going to be around for? So the quicker they get it done properly, then hopefully they'll reap the rewards, as it were. So.
Now, you have been a busy boy, but I've seen your name has popped up everywhere. I think on a few shows I've just been like...
For the right reasons.
Absolutely for the right reasons. And I've just been championing you because I've just been like, this lady has just done exactly what she wanted to do. You kicked over the hornet's nest in many occasions, and I want to applaud you for that. Well done.
Thank you.
So the response seems to have been positive for what you wanted to do. Did you get what you wanted straight away?
Yeah, I think so.
Get right into that microphone.
Sorry. Okay. I was quite upfront about the fact that what my causes were. I was quite upfront about the fact that I was going to be proactive and tenacious. It's just the way I'm made, I'm afraid.
I love that word, quite tenacious. It's
authentic,
amazing.
I think, is how I like to brand myself. My husband says I'm like Marmite, but I'll take that too. So, yeah, I mean, everybody I have approached has been very receptive. I've had to explain what the High Sheriff is to quite a lot of people.
To me included.
Yeah, I know. It's a shocking state of affairs. So I hopefully we're going to cue with that by the end of the year. But no, everybody's been really receptive, and I've tried to be informed before I've approached people as well. So I've done quite a lot of homework, and if I don't know the answers and I'm at loss, I'm quite upfront about saying that as well. So no, it's been good so far. I've still got a lot to do. My plans haven't changed, just how I get there has changed a little bit. But no, so still focusing on the three areas that I said, but also finding myself drifting into other things as well that are sort of been. I mean, I wasn't going to touch on homelessness, but you can't help it when my three causes do go into that area as well, and the same with the mental health side of things. You can't help getting involved in that because
it all ties in, doesn't
absolutely,
it?
Yeah. I mean, they're all just social issues, aren't they? So yeah, it's there's a lot to do.
And again, it's all these things that have been affected. I mean, like people losing trade, losing businesses, not being able to pay their rent, trying to pay their mortgages. That unfortunately, people will be made homeless. And then the mental health thing, like I said. I spoke to Shane Chebsey, who's a co-host of mine on the Weekly Bazaar, and he's also he planned Comic Salopia. Everybody knows who Shane Chebsey is, and he was saying to me that he's an introvert. So he the first few weeks he was kind of like, "Oh, this is amazing! I don't need to make excuses anymore. I could just stay at home." But after like a month, he was kind of like, "I miss people," but not everybody has that that reaction. Some people are just like. They're cooped up and they're pent up and all their emotions, and it affects their mental health, and yeah.
I think the other thing I've noticed is with some of my girlfriends that they're normally outgoing and they're confident, articulate individuals, but when we went into lockdown, that they started to suffer with mental health issues and things like that, and it was purely from not being able to engage with directly with people, and also there's some of the stresses and strains to do with finances and this, that and the other, so I understand that as well. But yeah, I mean, I think it's affected people in ways that they probably never even thought they would. So like you say, you know, I'm talking about extroverts, you're talking about introverts. I think it's without doubt, there was an element of it was nice to put the brakes on and stop and go, okay, right, let's just think about this. And no doubt it was a little bit like an all-inclusive holiday in some houses.
I've heard that mentioned a lot, yeah.
But I think it was nice that you hadn't got anywhere to go, so like you say, you didn't have to make excuses if you didn't want to go. But then I think it's when reality dawns and, you know, the furloughing stops and it turns into redundancy, and it's just, you know, we are now officially in a recession.
Recession, yeah. It was coming, wasn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I'm trying to champion, you know, I'm talking about a lot of negative things in my year. I appreciate that. And that's for good reason. But I am, over the next sort of couple of months, hoping to get out and about, meet people. I've got a sort of not quite a rolling road show, but it is a bit of the watch out the sheriff's about, because I'm going to be going around numerous towns around the county to meet individuals, meet some of the businesses, walk the high streets, and try and promote some of the visitor attractions as well. So I'm trying to sort of look up instead of just keep looking down. So hopefully that's my next 2 months taken care of. So
good.
So I just wanted to put a bit of a champion in some of the good stuff that we've got going on in the county.
I'm really happy to hear that, because like, you know, you're saying about not having to make excuses. The way my mind works is my mind is always racing. I'm always making, like, thinking, what can I do with my time? Like today, like I thought 45 minutes before Dean comes in, I'm going to do some editing, and that's what I was doing. And I'm constantly always moving, always thinking about things. So when this lockdown first happened, and they're like, we're going to close the studio, and I was kind of like, oh, what am I going to do? You know, it was just my mind needs to be busy, needs to be making things, and you're very similar by the sounds of it. What was like the biggest sort of shock for you when you took over and you were kind of looking into things, whether it's a good shock, bad shock? Is there something that you've looked into and you thought, wow, as if that happens, you know?
I suppose the positive shock was how receptive everybody was to me, or to the office. I'll take it of me as well, but that was quite some of that was easier than I thought. So you mentioned High Sheriff, and that's been quite, you know, effective. Negatives, I don't know that I've had. Frustration is probably one of the biggest things, that I get frustrated that I can't get everything done straight away. But that's more about me than taking the office. I'm very impatient. I want answers to everything straight away. Maybe some people would say look on things. Sorry, am I making the sound go funny?
No, you're fine. You sound great.
Do I look on things too simplistically? But I just, I do tend to look at things quite black and white. I will step back, and I'm quite happy to be educated on things when I don't know, as I said before. But that's the big thing, is that I see so much that needs to be done, and so much that I want to get done. So there's the frustration of what's realistic in 1 year. That's what I'm mindful of. And also I can't start initiatives and leave them for the incoming High Sheriff to take over. That's really not fair at all.
Is that you normally, or is like the pressure of being the High Sheriff just kind of stepped you up a gear?
Probably, yes, it did. Yeah, I mean, I'm quite, I'm always on the go. I always want everything done. I'm well known as being impatient and bossy. So that's not changed. But it's just now I'm getting exposure to things and can see, right, okay, if we could put that person with that person, we can get that done. So like you, my mind's racing. I'm forever carrying my little red book around me that I'm always making notes.
I've just taken a picture of you, actually, because it looks like you've set up camp for the...
It's like I've moved in, I know. It's like I've moved in.
I like that. Organisation is great. Let's talk about some of the things that have come since you've come. I was going to say come into power then.
Oh no, I wouldn't. No, that's a dangerous word to use. Very dangerous word. Come to office.
Come to office, that's the word. I've been introduced by, between yourselves and other people, the Pegs is for an example. I love Michelle's amazing. Pegs, she's amazing. She's coming in tomorrow. I'm helping her out as well with some stuff. She's been a great ally.
Another lady who's just all over everything really quick and
constantly.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to give you a ring. I'm like, okay, and then my phone's up. And I'm like, she's like, what are we going to do today? And I'm just like, okay, she's amazing.
I'll put it down to the fact that she's Welsh as well, but
Wow, yeah.
No, she's really good girl, and really good charity as well. Fantastic the work they do for child to parent abuse. I won't steal her thunder, but just a difficult subject, and one that's quite often just even ignored or completely misunderstood.
Thought about. No. Yeah, it's one of those things that I was like, I mean, you know, with my job, I've seen things that even I was kind of like, oh my God, yeah. You know,
and when she talks to you more, and she's done a couple of presentations I've organised for her to do. She did a presentation to the magistrates actually, which was fantastic. And because you're on Zoom, you could see some people's jaws dropping when she tells various stories and things like that. It is fantastic, and here in Shropshire as well. So one of the only organisations in the country doing it.
Absolute asset to the county. Yeah. Absolute asset to the county.
Yeah,
what are your accomplishments? What have you managed to do then? What's the things that you've been able to put into motion?
Oh, so far, I've got my domestic abuse forums. Those are going on in October. Cool. That working with Shropshire Domestic Abuse Services, West Mercia Women's Aid, and the Chamber of Commerce. We've got 3 forums, virtual forums, that we're putting on. They're all the same. They've just got 3 different time slots. Which are free to, they're aimed at employers, but anybody can go on them, and it's to educate employers about how they can identify where they think there's domestic abuse, their staff are suffering domestic abuse or abuse of any kind, know what to do, know how to tackle it, and where to signpost. So that's quite important. So we've got those going, and those are already, we've got some good numbers coming through on those. So cool. I'm just looking for my bit of paper that tells me. So if anybody wants to go on those, they just go to the www.shropshire-chamber.co.uk, press the events button, and you can book on to one of the slots. There's 2 on the 20th of October, and there's one on the 23rd of October, and we've got a morning, afternoon and evening slots going on. As I say, free. And if even if you aren't an employer but you're interested, and you may have friends who you suspect or feel that might need support, so that's a biggie. And that's, when it comes to domestic abuse, obviously I want to look at the 3 aspects. So I want to look at prevention, protection and repair. So this is really the protection side of things. Prevention, we're looking to get a programme going in schools whereby children are educated, and we're looking at probably from the age of 4 to understand relationships, understand domestic abuse. Obviously it's going to be delivered sensitively, and it's not me delivering it, obviously. So that we educate children, and from age 4 to 18 they should then have 14 years of understanding what's an acceptable relationship, and learning about self-respect and things like that. So that's quite a biggie. Yeah. Hopefully that the teacher training starts on that, probably I think it's October that gets going, so we've got that moving. What else have I been doing? I've been championing the White Ribbon accreditation, so trying to get organisations again to take up accreditation. White Ribbon Days in November, and White Ribbon is about men stepping up and confirming that they are against violence against women. So instead of it just being a women's initiative and women keep going on about it, it's the fact that men step up and do that. So that's the focus of White Ribbon. Women can get involved as well. You can have champions and ambassadors. So trying to get some of the organisations in the county, some of the public and private sector organisations to sign up to that. Oh gosh, we're looking to bring a new initiative in, and I'll come and talk to you more about this once we've got it over the line, which is best kept communities. So not best kept villages, and this is working with the Staffordshire Foundation, who also work across Shropshire, and it's a new initiative. They've been doing it in Staffordshire for about 25 years, and that is best kept villages. But to bring it over the border, we said that we wanted it to be best kept communities. So it doesn't matter, it's not all about having nice plant pots in your village or your area. It could be a street that to the outside eye is quite shabby, but fundamentally there's a massive community spirit there, and that's what we're looking for. And we want to make sure it doesn't just become the nice parts of Shropshire. We want to reach far and wide in all sorts of communities. Yes. So that we're going to be launching that in September. That'll go right through then and be judged next June. So we've got a steering group meeting in September to look at what criteria we want to apply to that. So we didn't want Staffordshire's, there's no disrespect, but they do it very differently, and we wanted to put our own mark on it. So that's a big initiative that I'm just trying to put the steering group together on there. And again, that will actually be something that I'll hand over to the future High Sheriff, but also it'll be an annual event anyway, so I'd like to think that that will have some longevity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what else? We're working with various providers across the county to get a series of virtual events leading up to World Homelessness Day, which is in October. So the university are involved, the ARC are involved, Man in Place, Stay, and various other Samaritans, Mind, and the likes, all across the county, so Telford, Wrekin and Shropshire there, and that's coming together. So again, we'll be having some PR and promo on that.
That magic word again, virtual.
Yeah, virtual. But but no, that would be quite interesting, and again, we'd like that to get some impetus, and then hopefully that will become an annual event as well. And what else am I trying to tackle? Gosh. I think the digital divide. Ideally, I'd like to try and see if we can do something regarding businesses supporting in some way some digital equipment for some of the schools and individuals who haven't got kit and therefore are deprived from even being able to do their homework and things like that. I know the government did some work, not enough to satisfy the need that there is in Shropshire, I'm afraid.
And there are tools available that are easy to use as well. I mean, like Microsoft Teams, for example. You can. I spoke to someone that was said that they got their homework through Microsoft Teams and then the coursework and stuff, and they can send it back and stuff. It's all about understanding that, isn't it? It's all about being in the know-how.
I think the digital divide side of things, I know it's a buzzy word, but the reality is, I mean, that is part of deprivation, that you've got kids who, if the household can afford broadband is one thing. Yeah. Can they get broadband? Because there's some parts of Shropshire that it's hopeless.
Yes.
And then secondly, even if you have got broadband, there might not be any digital kit. There might be one mobile phone between everybody. There might certainly be no laptop or no iPad. So that needs to be addressed. And I was going to reach out to the business community probably towards the autumn and see where we go with that and see if there's some sort of scheme that can be put together. So that's sort of a bit of a work in progress at the moment. But there's definitely something that could be done there. Kit these days isn't that expensive. Obviously, it isn't expensive if you can afford it. Yeah. But I'm talking about sort of business community, and I appreciate as well the business community is going through a difficult time as well. But there are some people who are not going through a difficult time. So we'll see. We'll see where we go with that one.
Spread the wealth. Just listening to all that, I've just took a step inside your mind. How have we only got you for a year? Can we keep you on forever?
I think you might be fed up with me after a year.
No. Like, that's so proactive. That's so, like, some people. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people get into a position like yours and just be like, yeah, this is cool. I like this. The chair's nice and comfortable. Let's just. But
I don't. I mean, I came into it knowing that this opportunity doesn't come along very often. So, and I see so much that needs to be done. Or I see so many opportunities where I'm putting people together to make things happen. It's not me doing all of this. It's very much about networking and putting people together that you think have got some synergy and can make a difference, and finding the people that want to make a difference. That's quite important as well. So, So I've got big plans. Please God that they come off. That's the point. It's all well and good having a list.
Sure they will. I mean, like I said, your name's been mentioned a lot in a positive way, and we keep bumping into each other as well, don't we? I mean, obviously we've got the Shropshire virtual show coming up, which we mentioned at the beginning of the show.
Yep.
How did you guys get in touch?
It was Selena contacted me and asked if I would become vice president. Which I was happy to do. Obviously, we've got Anna Turner, our Lord Lieutenant, as the president. So, I mean, I was intrigued how it was going to work, but very much fantastic. And just how far they've got in the 9 weeks that they've been doing this is just unbelievable. The amount of stuff for everybody on there is just unreal. So, no, I'm delighted to be involved, and obviously I've done what I can to help promote. I've done a couple of video clips for them. I'm involved in some of the competition judging and things like that. So there's plenty going on, and we've even entered our dog in the dog show. So we'll see. I shall feel most guilty if he wins a prize. That might be classed as a fix, but I don't know yet. I'm not involved in the dog show.
But he is cute.
So he is very cute.
Anna is fantastic. She sent me an itinerary of what's going on.
Anna working on the promo.
Anna Bowley.
Oh, right, okay, not Anna the Lord Lieutenant.
It's like I said, there's lots of people working behind this. It's really important.
It's unbelievable.
And they sent me an itinerary, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it's huge. It's crazy how many working parts there are behind this show. As soon as I saw it,
so professional as well, and the simple. I know obviously a lot of it relies on a significant website, but it has been put together so well, and the PR and just getting the message out there. They've worked so hard on it, and what they've managed to achieve is just unbelievable. So so everybody needs to be tuning in. I mean, obviously you don't have to sit there all day watching it, because it's still going to be live for a week after the event. So I mean, dipping in and dipping out, it's worth having a look. It really is.
We're gonna take these tables and these microphones, and we're gonna take a webcam. I've only got a normal little webcam, so hopefully that works. But we're gonna sit and we're gonna do some live interviews, and if we see you, we'll have to sit you down and we'll have
definitely it'll be a good one.
And Dee went to the Cavalier Centre last week to have a look around. She's really excited about what's going on. I need to, on a short notice, but I want to speak to the Dirty Rocking Scoundrels as well. I keep saying that because they were at the drive-in festival, and they've this is like the second gig that they're going to play into a weird audience.
Okay.
Because
no, I know. That's the other thing. I mean, the sort of bands and the opportunity to get the music coming together as well. Because I mean, not everybody's going to want to be involved in it. I mean, it's a fantastic shopping village. That might not be your thing. Horses, dogs might not be your thing. But like you say, that the bands and the live music stuff they've got on there, there's absolutely something for everybody on there. It's just brilliant. I
mean, this era that we're in right now. It may just be that it's going to push record sales a bit higher because people can't go out to see concerts. So, like, Taylor Swift a couple of weeks ago released a new album, and it went crazy because people can't.
How do you even know that?
Because I am a master of my trade.
Oh, I see. That you were going to say I'm a massive Taylor Swift fan.
Oh, absolutely not. No. If anybody knows me and is affiliated with me through the Garmy, you'll know I'm not. But no, it's just an example of kind of like how the model works in the market at the moment. Like, people can't go out and see Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Eminem, whatever. So it's a strange one. And they released these pictures of a concert, an outdoor concert or a festival thing in Newcastle, and they almost look like wrestling rings, these metal platforms with like 4 chairs where people can sit in their own little bubble, a bit like the drive-in, but you go. I mean,
I did think Beth did an amazing job, but it was just hats off to her, just so creative. And everybody who I know went. Sadly, we were doing something else. And each week you got different theme, and it was just brilliant. And obviously I watched some of your webcamming going on and your little dancing. Fantastic. No, really good.
It's fantastic. He's becoming a little superstar. He is. Beth. I mean, I talk about how sometimes the most simple ideas are the hardest ones to find, and like the way that was run, the driving festival was a simple idea. Just give everyone a box and let them order food to their car. Done. Sometimes that goes over people's head, but it was fantastic how she did it. A
lot of people do the answer's no. Now what's the question? And that infuriates me. That's something I can't bear. So I mean, people thinking outside the box and creative thinking, and with the determination to make something work. As long as it's not misguided, obviously. But no, brilliant. So really, really well done. And like you say, nobody knows how long all of this is going to go on for. So hats off. Really, really good.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to the most this year? I mean, I know you've got lots planned, but what's the things that's like really like, I want to get my hands on that?
Oh gosh, I suppose I'm looking forward to getting into schools. Anybody, as I say, I haven't got children, and it frustrates me. We've got children in schools in deprived areas, and some of the top 10 worst 10% in the country we've got in Shropshire. I want to get into schools and try and see if we can do some raising of aspirations, really, which I'm not quite sure how. There's one or two of us working together to see what we can come up with from that point of view. But that's quite important to me, even if in the smallest way we can have some impact there. The addiction side of things as well is if we can do some work on some joined up thinking across the county and just sort of break down the stigma attached to addiction, particularly alcohol addiction. Really, if we can do some work on that, because, and again, increasing people's understanding of the issues there as well. But so it's all sort of it's not, I mean, ideally, yes, it would be wonderful. I hope these forums work perfectly wonderfully in October and we get a load of people on them, but it needs to then go on a level and it's got to make a difference. It's not
so
just...
you're going to get all this information, it's what you're going to do with this information when you find it.
That's the issue. The High Sheriff Awards is quite important to me.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that. What's the High Sheriff Awards?
We've got... So High Sheriff Awards do exist, and they exist for all High Sheriffs, and we all run them in different ways. I was quite keen that I wanted to launch mine at the beginning of my year, and that was always the intention, even before COVID sort of sideswiped us all. Just so that we got it sort of a drip feed in, so that we got out to as many people as possible over as long a time as possible. And it's basically an organisation, individual or a charity that just has made a difference. So people that wouldn't normally get recognised for the good that they do, I wanted to recognise them by way of issuing them with a High Sheriff Award. So quite simply, just go onto the website, highsheriffofshropshire.co.uk, and just click on High Sheriff Awards, and there's a simple nomination form to fill in. There's no criteria, there's no categories, because I didn't want to exclude anybody. One man's meat is another man's poison, is it? What some person might think is, well, that's no big deal, is it? But that might have made whatever that person's done might be a massive impact on somebody in a positive way.
I mean, that phrase, what was it? One man's meat
is another man's poison.
I like that, because we've working with so many different charities over the time I've been running the Biscuit. I've learned, especially with things like the Ark. I was so shocked by the work I was doing with the Ark at the beginning, and some of the pictures I'd shared and things like that. How some people can be really supportive, and then some people are just they've been raised to believe that homeless people are this, that, the other, the negative. I'm not going to use words or slurs, but it's just insane when you try and do something to support, and then the Black Lives Matter was the perfect example, I think, because I was quite proud of Shrewsbury, to be honest, because we saw the things that were going on in Manchester and London and all these cramped up, but we managed to do a very peaceful, very calm protest that was socially distanced. I mean, you could see how people were sat in their own little bubbles, and I know
several people who went to that, and they said it was absolutely managed and run, and everybody behaved.
That girl, I wanted to get her on the show. I forget her name, I beg your pardon, but the girl that was stood on the bandstand talking.
Is it Abby McCoy?
I forget her name. She's a brilliant young person, and I wanted to get her on the show, and she was like, I don't think it would go down well, because she knew like the good, the positive side, and the very negative side towards.
Well, I think it's like I said before, it's about informed awareness, isn't it? That everybody's entitled to an opinion, and you can have an opinion. All I'm asking around my causes as well is just stop and understand, and you can still have your opinion, but just have an informed one. So, I mean, again, that with the homelessness project that we're doing in October, the whole ethos behind that series of events is to educate the public, so that people understand homelessness is not just about rough sleeping and how annoying is it that man sleeps in the doorway of the shop that you want to go into and the like. It's more than that. It's about people sofa surfing with families and things like that, and also the issues of homelessness in the rural community, as opposed to, it's obviously very different to be homeless, as I say, rural, as opposed to in Shrewsbury or Telford or whatever. And there's some amazing work being done across the county, supporting homelessness, and obviously it was in the press, and we've there was a temporary fix, but it's got to be taken on a level, and just making sure people understand, okay, so what is now happening, where do we go, how do we lobby the people, whether it's at a county level or a national level, to make sure that as a country we can definitely do better than we are doing. So we'll see, but that's what the whole ethos, as I say, of the event is educating people, so that they go, okay, I didn't know that.
It is an interesting subject. I mean, I spoke to a couple of people at Shropshire Town, the community, when they opened up their 4G pitches. I spoke to a couple of people there, went to the launch of that. That reminds me, actually, I need to get in touch with them, see how they're doing. So if anybody's listening from Shropshire Town, the community, get in touch, we'll do something. But I spoke to a homeless gentleman there, and he'd found a property. He'd actually changed and been put in. And the thought of being in a property by himself within four walls gave him anxiety and panic attacks, and that was just bizarre to hear that he'd been, here we go, here's the golden key, and it really caused him issues.
It's about so much more than that, isn't it? I mean, I don't profess to have any great in-depth knowledge on this, and I've not experienced it myself, but obviously just from what I've learned over the last few years, is you've got to have the wraparound services. It's all well and good plonking somebody, and I know Maslow's hierarchy of needs, yes, you've got to have a home to start with, but fundamentally a lot of these people have got other wider issues that they can't physically function, and they might have addictions and mental health issues and all sorts of things. So that's why it's really important that we yes, find the home, but you've got to have those wraparound services at whatever cost they are, to give those people the best chance of getting their life back on track and making a contribution to society. I mean, it's desperate, it really is. I also appreciate, it costs a lot of money, but sometimes money shouldn't be the issue. So
it's not, it's the education at the end of the day. But what I was going to ask you is social media. Are you involved with a lot of what goes on in social media? Because we were just talking about the press, how they can throw these negative stories which create negative comments. How you do get involved with stuff like that?
I'm working, I've got a PR company looking after me, so I do a lot of my own social media things, but we normally schedule it and work it through and things like that, and that's purposely. I wanted them there for guidance, advice, and support, and obviously they've got access to I haven't got time to be caught in the media and working with the media directly because I'm so busy doing other stuff, so they've been invaluable. But yeah, I keep up to date with what's going on. I tend to not react to a lot of stuff.
So you go into those threads and you look at the comments, yeah?
Yeah, sometimes, depending what it is. And sometimes you just have to just walk away, don't you? Because, like you say, it's keyboard warriors, which, it's quite amusing. But equally quite dangerous as well. I think that's really does
It's not good for the soul. It's really not good for the soul. One of my heroes, Kevin Smith. And I listen to a lot of Joe Rogan as well. I wouldn't say he's a hero, but I do appreciate it. And they always I'm not such an egotistical maniac where I'm like, I've got so many things being written about me because I haven't. But they all say, stay away from those threads, man. If you know that there's going to be a story, there's going to be something hateful in this, stay away. Yeah. But I can't help myself.
No, I
can't. It's
no. I've been quite fortunate that the issues I'm touching on can hit a nerve with people, but in fairness, if people, I've encouraged people to get in contact with me if they want to talk about something or they've got issues or concerns, but I don't know that anybody can necessarily be negative about what I'm trying to highlight, and touch wood, I've not had anything
good
hideous so far. Now I've said that, something will probably happen, but no, in fairness, and we're quite, we're quite, if something needs to be taken offline, then I'm quite happy to talk to somebody as well. So if they raise an issue, then I just go, okay, we'll talk about it. I'm not going to get into keyboarding.
Yeah. Have you found days where there's lots of, because as proactive as I am, sometimes I will create this huge bundle of information that I need to process in my head. There's only so much a diary and a laptop can do, right? Yeah. Do you have those days where it's all these voices like X-Men, all these voices going on in your head,
if you could see my desk at the moment, I live by Post-its. Whoever invented the Post-it, and I'm going to have this written on my gravestone, I adore them. Every size Post-it, I love a Post-it. And so I just get into, particularly if I've been, maybe it wasn't so bad when we were all permanently Zooming, because you just, you sat and you went from one to the other. When you're out and about, and then you come back and you've got all the emails and this, that and the other, and they're not nonsense emails, they are emails that need addressing, so you can get into overload, and so sometimes I just have to go, okay, and so what I've done now is I've booked myself one day a week, well, I tried it one day a week and it's not worked, it's probably one day a fortnight, where I just, okay, no meetings today, no nothing, just regroup, go back over what you're trying to achieve, go back over your to-do list, look at that and just take some time out. So that's the only way, because I can end up chasing tail, really, and that's the last thing I want to do, or forget to do something. That is my nemesis. If I ever forget to do something, I just get so infuriated. So no, I just use it as a sort of regroup, take stock, sort my to-do pile out and do that. And again, go back through my famous red book to make sure I've done everything that I said to do.
Notebooks, I've got like 4 or 5. I've had to buy 2 new ones because there was an ink explosion in my bag. I was like, more notebooks.
Oh no, gosh, no. That was one of the things I took when I first started as sheriff, and I've done a sort of handy hints and tips for the incoming sheriffs, and there's a few of us across West Midlands are going to share sort of just like simple things to think about, and one of them is, whatever you do, get a notebook from the start of your office, or from the start of even knowing that you come into office, and just write it all in there. Don't write it on note paper, don't write it in a file of facts or whatever, just write it in your notebook, because it's just been invaluable. It really has. I know, and it seems simple, but I wasn't a notebook person before. I was a list person, but I was not a notebook person, and I definitely
I have to have one for every single thing. So I have one for the USUC stuff that I do, one for the biscuit, and then one for like show notes, just random stuff, you know, because otherwise I'll be like, which book is it? Like, or it's all jumbled up or something, you know. And that's good advice. That's really good advice that you take just one day for.
Yeah, or if you're going to meetings, and my famous thing I always used to do is I would write the notes from the meeting on the back of the agenda or something, and then. But because I'm going to so many meetings now, and obviously sometimes you want to go back and see, right, okay, what did we talk about last time I was here? What did we say we were going to do? So, and I haven't got time to be typing it up, which is what I would normally do in my day job at the business company. I'd be, we'd have agendas, I'd be typing the notes up. So it's far easier to write them in my rather large red book.
It is. And without being too personal, what do you like to do to wind down? What recharges your batteries?
I'm not that age now. I'm going to say walking, aren't I? But
walking the dog.
No, I do. I mean, I do keep fit. Constantly trying to keep fit and do that. So I do a lot of gym stuff, not because I enjoy it, and it certainly doesn't wind me down, but that takes your mind off things. We do a lot of dog walking, and yeah, I mean, I'd like to think I'd put reading on there, but I don't get a chance to read that often. I'm one of I've got Kindle. I read one page before I go to sleep, and I do none. That's it. Hopeless. But. No, so I'm not the best at winding down, I must confess. Probably spending time with friends is really probably how I do it, and I do enjoy entertaining and cooking. It's been late coming to me, cooking has, mainly because I married a man who can't cook, and I couldn't cook when I got married, but I soon had to sharpen that up. So no, I do enjoy cooking now. I've
got to say, I've got an amazing wife who looks after me. She knows how busy I am, I mean, today, for example, we're doing this, then I'm doing another voice tour, the final voice tour that I'm recording for Shrewsbury for the bid. Then I'm going home, got a meeting with Anna from the virtual show. And then tonight, 11 o'clock, I've got another live podcast I'm doing. I'm constantly on the go. She looks after me. Yeah, she's amazing.
That's good. That's good to say, isn't it? Behind every successful man, there's a successful woman. But no, I mean, in fairness, my husband's had to sort of fend for himself quite a lot recently, but that's good. So
he's less feral now.
He's not too bad actually. He's getting a few dishes under his belt, which is good. So
fantastic.
Oh
wow. Well, you know what? It's been amazing chatting to you, and I'd love for you to give you an opportunity to shout out people that you think have been particularly amazing to speak to during your time. As High Sheriff. I know it's hard because you forget people, but I mean, if there's anybody that comes to mind.
Well, I mean, the organisations that have been, I spent some time yesterday with A Better Tomorrow in Telford, and the work they're doing there for drug and alcohol addiction, unbelievable. Just so together, got a good reputation. I think I'm giving them a shout out on social media tomorrow. This week I've spent some time with Shropshire Domestic Abuse Services as well, going to their various refuges in the county. The work they do and the people that they positively impact on with such a small team is unreal. So Wendy Bullman there is just amazing. Again, who else? Everybody involved in Man in Place and the Arc with the homelessness stuff, and Stay, the work that they do, just brilliant. I'm going to forget somebody here now, and they're going to get quite upset. But also ACO over in Oswestry, the organisation that is supporting me with their corporate social responsibility. So the money that they would usually donate to various charities and good causes, they've pledged to me for me to do what I wish with it. And the same with their team, their staff all have to do some volunteering during the year. So again, they're following the organisations that I'm championing. So they've just been amazing, and I am so grateful for the support that they're giving me over the year. And also the ongoing support that they give into the various organisations, whether it's meeting facilities or doing gardening or just helping out with Osnosh in Oswestry. I mean, just really, really good. So, no, there's a lot of good organisations in the county, a lot of people making such a difference. It is quite heartening, to be quite honest. And goodness knows what we'd do if they weren't there. That's the worrying thing.
Yeah, I mean, and this is the thing, isn't it, when... what's the most polite way to put this? When the government puts a lot of weight on a charity and then they forget that they're a charity.
Yeah.
You know.
No, it is. I mean, the one thing that obviously I'm conscious of as well is, some of these organisations, they might have charity over the door, but they are run particularly well and particularly slick, which is always encouraging to me. And the commitment with some of the people, you just, they're so... well, it's like a calling to a lot of them, so no, all credit to them. So I'm heartened that we have got such a good voluntary sector, charity sector in the county that needs a shout out every which way, really.
You're amazing. You do amazing. You do amazing work, and I wish we could have you for longer than a year, because I think you're doing amazing work.
Well, hopefully it all comes to fruition, and obviously I'd love to come back and sort of, if everybody wants to listen, then I'm just update you on where I get to by the end of the year, so that hopefully these come together.
Well, no, I was talking about you with my American co-host, and I was trying to explain to him, because obviously in America a sheriff is howdy, like somebody pours in the water hole, so then I explained to him, sheriff, like you explained, Sheriff of Nottingham, and he was like, oh. He understood. And
we actually had sheriffs first. We started it, and then they took it from us. So that's how it came. Because obviously back in the day, I would have been responsible for keeping the peace in the county, and I would have been the law enforcement, and I would have been stopping the posse coming over the border from the Black Country or from Wales or whatever. Says she with a Welsh accent. But yeah, so we had it first because it was 1100 years ago, and then the obviously Americans took it from there. So so you can tell
we were here first, America.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the Sheriff of Nottingham gets this negative thing, because obviously it's a famous story, Robin Hood, and so you have this. You're not all the Sheriff of Nottingham. You're actually doing amazing things, and I thank you on behalf of the county.
No, very well.
And hopefully, I see you guys, you and everybody that's taking part at the weekend for the Shropshire Virtual Show.
Definitely,
yes. We will be there. We're trying to organise T-shirts between now and next weekend, because I don't think it was possible with lockdown, because I know a lot of T-shirt printing companies have been furloughed. But we're looking. I think Dee's found someone. So if you see somebody walking,
is there anybody in the county that can do it? Or
I think that there's lots of places. There's a place in the market hall.
Is there? Okay.
There are a few places, but we want to find someone that we can work with, understanding that we don't have a massive budget. So if somebody out there wants to get involved, we're doing stuff like that, because we're constantly in need for posters and. Marketing. So I want to get a big banner that we can just leave in the corner here somewhere. So when we go to somewhere like a festival or something, we can just put it up and be like, it's a Shrewsbury Biscuit. I want one of those billboards, like in America, the Shrewsbury Biscuit.
Oh, I know. Normally just address a Superman phone, isn't it?
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
Well, maybe we'll chat offline about that and see what we can do and organise.
And also, I don't like talking business much on the microphone, but I've looked at our show, and I've looked at how we process things, and of course I edit everything that comes through. And there are spots for like 3 adverts in our show, and I don't like to be one of these shows that's filled with adverts. And I definitely don't want to become a show that's like it's going to be like selling or Audible. If you like reading, but I don't want to be like MeUndies or some American company. I want locally sourced Shropshire companies that, if you want to get involved with a biscuit and want us to make an advert for you, I mean, the way we do with Web Orchard, I'm very transparent with what I do. I don't care, it's my show. So with Web Orchard, I just give them a mention. With the Gin Different thing, this show is brought to you by Gin Different, and lots of people listen to our show all around the world. So if you want to get involved,
I was going to ask you what sort of listener levels do you have, so because that might impact on people wanting to get involved.
It's jumped up. We've gone from very quickly from about 500 downloads a month to something like 1,200 a month. That's in a matter of probably say about 3 or 4 months. Brilliant. Like the show has just grown exponentially. Wow. And it's a lot of listeners from around the world as well. I threw up a post a couple of weeks ago, and there's people coming in. I listen from Germany, I listen from America, I listen from Australia, and there's lots of people worldwide. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. There's a guy got in touch with me as well, James Finney, I think his name is. He's a podcaster local. He lives in town. He got in touch. He was like, I love what you guys do. I want to come to the studio. There you go. I love it. People finding us.
Well, it's a win-win, really, isn't it? You get your advertising revenue, but also the organisation that's advertising wins. So don't ever be shy about asking for things like that.
No. The way I looked at it was actually Darren from Gin Different was like, what you're charging for this is nothing compared to the newspaper, and it's fresh. It's a new way of advertising. So get in touch, people. We will speak to you. I can make things sound professional. I can do that. I'm kind of good at the editing now. But get in touch, and you can get in touch via our website, which is www.theshrewsburybiscuitpodcast.co.uk. I say all of our audio is available, but I'm slowly catching up with everything. So, but take a look, see what's available on there. All of our back catalogue is available on there, and you can get in touch with us too. You've been fantastic.
Thank you for having me.
I love chatting to you, and I wish you all the luck in the world. And we'll get you on in a couple of months, find out what's been going on.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in, listeners, and we'll catch you next time. Peace out.